Hey folks, it's Grant over here at Local Cooling Farms. I just wanted to go over a couple things with using our raised bed mix. So we've got a little herb garden that we just put together. It's using a Smart Pot brand raised bed, which are pretty cool. So we've got rosemary, oregano, thyme, and some dill. What I've got going on here is something that I really don't like. I got two things going on. One, I have not fertilized these plants at all. I've not side dress fertilized, and I've not mulched. So I'm going to do that real quick. So this is super important. When you buy our raised bed mix from us, it's got all kinds of good stuff in it, but we can't fertilize it potent enough to get a lot of potency right next to the new plant root system. So that's when a side dress fertilizer is going to come into play. And so we planted these without side dressing fertilizing, just because that's what happened. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dig around here. I'm not hurting anything by doing this. And this material right here is a 1/8 inch screened chicken litter. So this chicken litter probably has an NPK ratio of of like a 2:1:1 or a 3:1:1, something in that. So I'm not gonna be able to burn the plants with this. I know this is from our chickens, and this stuff is like 2 years old. It's very well aged. We screened it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do that. And then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna grab some of this mulch. Now this mulch is gonna help retain the moisture, which is gonna be key for the root system to start absorbing that nutrients. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a little ring of mulch right around it. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do the same thing for all three of these plants. All right, I did the same thing with the oregano. I did the same thing with the thyme. I'm gonna do it again here for the dill. So I'm gonna grab my fertilizer, which in this case is the age screened composted chicken litter. This is why I like organic fertilizers, because it's really hard to burn plants with it. And now I'm gonna go through, now that the manure's there, now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mulch it. And I like hardwood mulch. The reason I like hardwood mulch is because it promotes white rot fungi. The pine is good for pH, but does not promote white rot fungi. The hardwood mulch has an alkaline pH floating around 7.4, 7.3, 7.5. So that's why we don't make our raised bed mix with the hardwood base, because it'll throw the pH way off. So there you go. So the biggest mistakes that I see people make is, 1, they do not side dress fertilize. 2, they do not mulch. And 3, they do not water in their plants until there's an established root system going into the soil. Because our raised bed mix is so well drained, and we do that on purpose because we have a high rainfall environment, you really need to water it first. That's super important. So do not be shy about hitting your plants up with a side dress concentrate fertilizer to get them established. That's super important. Next, we're going to move on to the seeds. All right, so here we are. We're looking at a bunch of cilantro seedlings. We direct seeded them. In a previous video, I did say that I'm not, a huge fan of direct seeding these seeds, but the cilantro seeds do have a little bit of a bigger seed, so they're able to kind of get established. I really normally do not like broadcasting seed like this, because of these bigger particles can really throw off your seedlings. I kind of encourage everybody to pretty much start your seedlings in seedling trays outside of the garden under light. That's the best thing to do, but that's not what we have here. So the danger that I may run into is a couple things. One, a lot of the nutrients are lost initially with the raised bed mix, because when we get downpour after downpour after downpour, a lot of the nutrients are below, 1 inch or 2 inches of the raised bed mix after it rains a lot. And then we have all this stuff that floats up, okay? So what I'm gonna do here is that I've got my screened chicken litter, and I'm gonna gently start sprinkling it around the seedlings. And then I would have preferred to have done this before, but when we seeded these, it was kind of a rush thing, and so we did not do a lot of prep. So I'm just going to go ahead and do all this, okay? And then I can't mulch this because if I go to mulch it now, I'm just going to cover up the plants. And after I do this, then I'm going to go ahead and water all this in. Okay, kind of got some heavy areas done. That's done. Okay, now I'm going to grab this and I'm going to gently sprinkle it on top. And those seedlings are big enough to kind of handle the rain of chicken litter. Okay. And I am putting a lot on here because I want the cilantro to grow, because it's not fruiting or flowering. We're eating the leaves and the stems itself. So that's it. This bed, we don't have anything planted in it. So let's say I want to go ahead, I want to plant, I want to direct seed some seeds in here, which I don't recommend you do. If you get the seeds, I recommend that you start them in the seedling tray underneath a plant-specific light, okay? But let's say you don't want to do that, you want to direct seed. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to create a furrow, okay? And then you're going to get, you're going to either screen the raised bed mix, or you're going to bring in a real fine potting soil. In this case, because I have my screened, 1/8 screened in chicken litter here, I'm going to go ahead and use this as an example. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fill my furrow with my screen material. I just need to remember that I fertilized this bed with chicken litter. See how that I have this nice little strip seed bed there? So I'm going to make another one. And I'm actually planting lettuce leaf basil in this bed, and I'm starting the seeds under lights. And so they really are heavy feeders, and I want them. So it's good that I'm putting all this chicken litter in here. It's just as an example. Okay, so now I've got another furrow, and I'm going to make a third furrow here. You see how chunky this raised bed mix is? It's just not good for seedlings. So you really need to do this prep. For seed, and what I mean by seedlings is when you direct seed, not when you plant seedlings. Okay, so these beds are about 2 foot by 2 foot, so I got about 4 square feet. So what I did is I went ahead and made 3 furrows. So if I was planting like Swiss chard seedlings or something, I would go seed, 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 and I'd go ahead and do it that thick, right? I'd go ahead, I'd place them in, I would gently cover the seeds up, and then just let them go. And so that's how you prep a bed with our raised bed mix for when you direct seed the material. And the reason that you're doing that is to get away from these big particles getting in your way. So if y'all have any questions, please leave a comment and let me know. Thanks.